Good morning. This is Pete Najarian for Market Rebellion. I'll tell you what, the take, it's always kind of fun. And today we're bringing it to you from Wisconsin out here. Beautiful day out here. I'll tell you what, when we look back at yesterday and we look at a triple digit gains that we were having in the Dow, and things started to look pretty good, but it fizzled late afternoon. And then before you know it, it started to try to chop back, did not get to those highs, but still finished the day up a little over 40 points. NASDAQ, on the other hand, also started off very, very strong. It was up more than 100 points early on. Also, late morning and early afternoon started to get that sell-off. Then that actually came back, but it faded and finished down in the red about 33 points or thereabouts. So we had an interesting day. We're still getting that kind of movement, but these are not the same kind of intraday moves that we were getting earlier in the year where it was just absolutely huge impact. That's why when you look at the volatility index, you see it trading 16.25. That's where we were yesterday. We've bounced up a little bit from there. We also had some great volumes, a return of the bigger volumes coming at us. 39.5 million contracts yesterday, another huge day. Apple, over 3 million of those contracts. Apple having a wonderful day. Just new high after new high after new high in Apple. And we had AMC, 1.2 million. We also had Tesla, which was a little bit over a million, 1.1 million yesterday, and then the rest. So you can see that we still have a very wide swath, but you do have those leaders each and every day, and Apple definitely taking that lead again after kind of coming down underneath those rebel stocks. Now it seems like Apple day after day after day is once again leading. So crude oil yesterday started the day around 75, finished the day around 73. We had Bitcoin just still holding along where it's been, about 32,700. That's where, give or take, that we have been. So that very, very lack of movement in Bitcoin, it's become very, very calm. That's become something of a storyline in and of itself. Energy and financials. I mentioned the pullback that we'd seen in oil. Energy and financials certainly are the weight that was pulling on the markets yesterday after we were up those triple digits. And that was certainly pulling us down fairly significantly when you look at those specific areas, and those beta energy names specifically really moving. And we've talked about this many times. Those moves to the upside, well, those are strong and great. That's why they're those betas, but they also move in the same way when they're working to the downside. Just take a look at Occidental, for instance. That's just one great example. Down 7.5% yesterday. So do I still like energy? Absolutely. But there is, we have been seeing this trend. Once everybody jumped on the bandwagon at about 75, we have seen a little bit more of this pulling back as well. So we'll see. I still think we have the chance of getting somewhere close to 80 or thereabouts, but we'll see how that all plays out. Moderna yesterday had a really big day. Once again, a nice leg up, nearly a 5% move to the upside. And Netflix, we had that for unusual option activity yesterday. Nice big spike, got up not only just 550, but 554 yesterday. We're going to have a little follow-up on what we're seeing today in there as well. So a lot going on. We have the jobless numbers. We've got the Fed continues to sort of steal all the headlines away from earnings, but we are continuing in the earnings cycle. Morgan Stanley continued what we've been seeing out of the rest of these financials, crushing it, but that's just not good enough. And financials have really not reacted as you might expect, although this has been the trend over the years. We've had these huge beats, and then they seem to pull back, especially given the fact that these financials have had these extraordinary runs this year to date. First half of the year, absolutely extraordinary. So that's a big part of it. So early on, we had the Dow down about 100 and some odd points, 150 points. NASDAQ just kind of floating around flat, down 10, up 10. NASDAQ slipped a little bit at the opening. It was down about 30. It immediately rallied back to flat. But then we take a look over at the Dow. It was down 140. And the next thing you know, it was down 100. Then it was down about 40 or 50. Then it was down small, and it started to leak once again. As a matter of fact, you want to talk about leaking down to the downside. Take a look at the NASDAQ. That has taken a leg down after starting off relatively flat and getting all the way up towards positive. And that suddenly had a little bit of pressure on it itself. So I talked about the financials, talked about Morgan Stanley, a beat, and it followed up with a push to the downside. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citi. A lot of these names have had that sort of a reaction. I will say this. Wells Fargo has definitely been a very, very interesting trade. Yesterday, that was one bright spot when you looked in the financials that definitely did stand out. So there still is a little bit of differences in some, but as a herd, they certainly are moving together, at least as of late. Chinese stocks have been on fire. They had so much pressure a week or so ago, and then we've seen this little bit of a comeback. And take a look at JD today. Take a look at Baidu. Take a look at many of these various names, and you'll see Baba, another one we had some of that unusual option activity in as well, finally to the upside, and that name having a pretty decent day. I saw last I looked, I think it was up a little bit over 215, so a pretty nice ride. Speaking of rides, how about we get to the unusual option activity and then we'll get out of here. So Ride, which is Lordstown Motors, this is another in the EV space, trading right around $9, and we had a buyer of 6,900 of the July 9 calls. Now remember, July 9, that's tomorrow, because July, the third Friday in July, so they're not specifying that out because that's a known. The third Friday in July, that's tomorrow, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We had a buyer. They started at 11 cents. They went all the way up to about 48 cents. That's not the only one. I've got another one for you. Gap Stores, another one with expiration tomorrow. Stock trading a little over 30. We had a buyer of 5,700 of the July 30 calls. So right at the money, they're attacking and looking for a move between today and tomorrow. It's got to happen, or these are going to go out at exactly wherever that stock is. Under 30, they're going out at zero. Whatever it is over 30, that's going to be the premium that's going to be trading for. But they were buying them for 33 cents all the way up to about 56 cents. So a little bit of premium, not a whole lot. If this stock can make any kind of a move over today and tomorrow to the upside and extend that a little bit, then these have the opportunity to start moving to the upside. Otherwise, let's understand, these do expire tomorrow, and that's very, very important to know. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, Market Rebellion team here is great. They do an unbelievable job educating people. People every single day, many times per day, are asking me, hey, how do I get into the derivatives market? How do I understand it a little bit better? Plenty of books out there, got great educators everywhere. I think we have great educators here. I think they're some of the very best. They do an unbelievable job. They've got great patience, and they can show you a lot about how the mechanics work for a lot of these option trades. Folks, have a great day of trading. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.